Hey there. We are on a lovely Saturday afternoon when I'm making this again. I have health issues, so when I'm having a good moment, I usually make, a video or two. And I'm trying to make more than an one video a day. So I'm doing these as often as I can. My cat is bugging me, so if you hear her in the background, that's what's going on. Thank you all for helping me get to my subscriber goal. The current goal is I'd like to see 15 hashtag Dark Brandon rises. That is a pro Biden hashtag. That hashtag started circulating on the social media after he put out that speech that pissed off all the MAGA people out there. Okay, the topic on this one is it's still I'm on a theme right now, and it's got to do with Trump's lawsuit against him by the Attorney General of New York. And I'm also going to talk about a couple things that have happened on social media that I think are somewhat connected to it. So let's go ahead and cue that up.
This is a very, very big news night, one that has not been good for Donald Trump. Just a short time ago, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals handed Trump's lawyers a huge defeat. Three appeals court judges, two of them appointed by Trump himself, lifted a judge's order that prevented the Justice Department from using classified documents that were seized from Mar-a-Lago in its criminal investigation. That ruling came just hours after the world learned the former guy is now facing a potentially crippling lawsuit that poses an existential threat to him and his real estate business and his family. Today, New York's Attorney General Letitia James sued Trump, his adult children, Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, and his company. She's accusing him of lying to banks, insurance companies, and the state, fraudulently overvaluing his assets by billions and billions of dollars while trying to minimize his company's tax bills.
The pattern of fraud and deception that was used by Mr. Trump and the Trump Organization for their own financial benefit is astounding. Claiming you have money that you do not have does not amount to the art of the deal. It's the art of the steal. And there cannot be different rules for different people in this country or in this state. And former presidents are no different.
And James offered several examples of what she called staggering fraud, including this allegation about the former president's home in Trump Tower.
Mr. Trump represented that his apartment spanned more than 30,000 square feet, which was the basis for valuing the apartment. In reality, the apartment had an area of less than 11,000 square feet, something that Mr. Trump was well aware of. And based on that inflated square footage, the value of the apartment in 2015 and 2016 was $327 million. To this date, no apartment in New York City has ever sold for close to that amount. Tripling the size of the apartment for purposes of the valuation was intentional and deliberate fraud, not an honest mistake.
The Attorney General noted the investigation began after former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen testified before Congress back in 2019.
Did the president ever provide inflated assets to an insurance company?
Yes.
Was the president interested in reducing his local real estate bills, tax bills?
Yes.
And how did he do that?
What you do is you deflate the value of the asset, and then you put in a request to the tax department for a deduction.
The New York State lawsuit seeks to recover $250 million from the Trump Organization, and James says she hopes to essentially ban Trump and his kids from running any businesses in New York. Trump's lawyer says the Attorney General's claims are, quote, meritless, and tonight on Fox News for a full hour, Trump himself said it was up to the banks to make sure his company was telling the truth.
We have a disclaimer right on the front. And it basically says, get your own people, you're at your own risk. What we do is, here's a financial statement, but be careful because it may not be accurate. It may be way off. I mean, we go, I think it's close to a page and a half of all of these things. Get your own people, use your own appraisers, use your own lawyers. Don't rely on us.
That right there, and Bear, just thanks for sticking with me on that. Actually, you guys probably like watching the professional news people more than me, but that right there, I mean, to any normal, rational person, that has got to look bad. That is not something that I'm sitting here going, oh wow, that fucking attorney general. And here's the thing, it could go to trial, and with a full airing of the information, with a competent judge, with a competent prosecutor, which I think Letitia James is, it is entirely possible that maybe a jury will look at that and, and maybe not find him guilty. I find it hard to believe. There's a video I just did yesterday. I don't know. You should see it either the day before or 2 days before this. But there was a guy that said, the evidence they have and the witnesses that publicly we know they have, he finds it pretty hard that this is not going to end in a conviction, in a victory for the government. But the comments that I've gotten, and they weren't even for any videos; these were just on Twitter, and this is what I want to talk about. There were comments, and it was funny because I think it was a elected official. They were talking about how bad the economy was, and I pointed out that the reason the economy is bad is because Biden inherited a mess from Trump. And again, the rational economists, not the right wing people, not the ones that are lying to you on Fox News or whatever. They point out, like, she's one of them. She's got a pretty good business head. She's got a pretty good financial head. They will explain to you that it was the mishandling of the pandemic that's causing this large chunk of this inflation. Maybe not all of it, but the bulk of it. Because what happened was they mismanaged the pandemic. And, this is where the Republicans do well, because, see, they can fit shit on a bumper sticker, but you cannot explain the incompetence of the Republicans on a bumper sticker. And so when the Democrats come out and try to tell you what's going on, there's something like 33 to 45% of this country that will fall asleep during the rational explanation. And they this is why they make such bad comments. When they comment, they don't know anything because they're not smart enough to understand somebody when they try to explain it to them. And I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. But this pandemic was handled so badly, which made the government have to shut down to protect people, because the government was instead of basically telling people, hey, we need you to get out there and take your vaccine, we need you to social media, you might have to grow up and not go to a restaurant, and you might have to shut your gym down. The only thing I'll say on that is I did see one guy whining on YouTube, and it was whining. I did agree with him in the fact that if the government's telling you have to shut down your business, then the government should pay your taxes and maybe some of your bills. That I thought was wrong, because this was a guy that, one part of the government was telling him he couldn't open his gym, and then he had another part of the government coming to him looking for tax money. And I think that was absolutely, but again, we had Republicans running things. What the fuck do you expect? And I believe this was in a Republican controlled state. The Republicans are running it. What the fuck do you expect? But because we've got it now, you've got Biden and the Democrats. They're trying to pass more money so that we can, prepare for the next pandemic, prevent the next pandemic. And you've got Republicans. They're fighting it. They don't want to spend the money. And we had money going out to help people. I think we should have done more, but again, the Democrats weren't in charge back then. But we had money that went out to help people that couldn't work, you know. And the Democrats, or the Republicans, what did they do? They started blaming everything else on that. It's like, oh yeah, we're helping poor people, and they didn't like it. You had rich people going, "Oh, this is why we can't get any workers," and it's just, it's a clear indication that when you look at these two parties, you got one party that's being grown up and one that's being childish. You got one party that's trying to help you, and you got another one that's trying to steal money from you and give it to fucking corporations. And the but the comments on it were just talking about how great Trump was. So what I did was I did just a 5-second Google search, and I got a list of Trump's fuck ups, and I put up on my Twitter account, and it talked about how inflation went up while Trump was in there, murder rate went up. It listed all the things that Trump did wrong, and then he basically brought up some other stuff Trump did. So again, I looked it up very quickly. It took like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. It was not an exhaustive search. It was pretty easy to find. And I put that up there. Well, then, because I mentioned, that, he had this lawsuit from, the attorney general. I can't remember if he brought up the attorney general or not first, but I mentioned that, yeah, what this guy did was a crime. He what he did, absolutely, and again, this description, it was absolutely a crime. And and then I told him, I go, look, you don't appear to be very smart. You don't appear to be very mentally stable. Please fuck off. And I'm like, I'm thinking, great. If he can read English, if he's an adult, he'll go bother somebody else. Twitter is full of morons. You can go spew that shit somewhere else. You don't have to fucking drop it on my door. I mean, I don't really get paid to sit there. And and I gotta question. I gotta be honest with you. Even if I get to the point where I'm getting paid for these videos, I'm not gonna be sitting there responding to delusional bullshit all day long. He had two things he put up, or three things he put up, and I factually corrected it for its errors. But I'm not gonna do it all day. I'm just literally not. And this is the thing. And I've seen it on the comments in my YouTube channel as well. You've got these guys who just repeat the same thing. There's a couple different strategies with these mentally defective MAGA people on the right, and you get it a little bit on the far left. But again, you can't call it the far right anymore. It's the right, you know. But what they'll do is they'll just repeat the same thing over and over again. Sometimes they'll rephrase it. Sometimes they'll just drop it in there. And then the other thing you'll get is you'll get these people. It's like a game of fucking whack-a-mole with a moron. And what they'll do is they'll tell you a lie, and then when you correct them and point out that it's a lie, then they'll just spew some other shit, and it'll go on and on. So you need to nip this shit in the bud, because on a certain level, if you keep answering their questions, all you're doing is like, oh, I must be onto something because he keeps talking. And but that's what he did, and I'm just like, I'm not doing this shit. When I get on social media, I'm not one of these people that's on all day. I don't have a smartphone right now, and even if I did, I quit carrying my smartphone because with the problems I got with my health, I get to where I couldn't find it, and then I would find it near my car, in my car, and so I got to where I don't carry it because it was falling out. I was misplacing it, and I can't do that anymore. And the other thing that I have is I've got this one guy, and I think it's one guy. I honestly think it's one guy with multiple YouTube channels, but the one guy offered to debate me, you know, and I keep getting one or two people. Oh, when are you going to debate him? And it's like real childish shit. Like I think they're doing it to every video, and I'm like, I don't mind the attention. I don't mind the comments there. I don't mind the activity there. But I'm not going to keep answering that fucking stupid question. I get it. These guys, these people that are commenting, these are the type of people, all you have to do, like a child, is threaten their, like, Well, what are you afraid of? Oh, when are you going to do this? And these guys will fucking cave and they'll do it. I'm not doing it. And I just want to say, and I do not mean this in a bad way. When he shows up in my comments, the one guy, he's got like 200 followers, and I I think he's like me. I think he's a small and insignificant person that's trying to, and that's fine. But I don't need to help him make because at one point he said he had made 200 videos, and I'm positive he's lying or delusional on every fucking one of them. But he's made like 200 videos on Kyle Reed, and he doesn't understand that, just because you keep making videos where you're lying or you're delusional about it doesn't make the Kyle Reed story you're telling true. And I have no intention of helping him make another one. I don't. And even if that wasn't the issue, I got health issues. I have limited time that I can do this. I really do. And I'm also taking someone that's, dying of cancer. And so I've got limited time I can do it. I am not going to waste 1 minute with this moron. I'm not. If somebody else wants their, but the thing I thought of today is he's got 200 followers. I'm wondering if they're all him. But the thing is, and I've got almost 100 followers, and I am grateful for every one of you. So I suppose he's probably just been doing this much longer than me, and he must not be getting. I mean, you guys have been giving me. I just gotta say, I have been happy. I have been a little overwhelmed at times with the attention that I'm getting on this channel. I think I'm guessing he must not be getting the attention that I am from my videos, and that's why he's trying to gin this thing up. But I got to be honest with you, I am getting more attention. I'm getting more excitement from this than I thought I would. I just thought this would be something to do when when I'm not busy with what's going on here, when I'm actually feeling a little clear headed. Maybe I'm not feeling good enough to do a video of gaming, which I was trying to do, but I'm good enough to do this. And I want to thank each and every one of you. But I don't know. But this MAGA crowd, the stuff I'm seeing, they are just delusional, and I don't know how we address that. I really don't. If you got any ideas, leave them down there. But I I just don't see this going anywhere good, and it's because some of these people, no matter how much truth you tell them, they either can't understand it or they won't understand it, and it's a little scary. Well, I want to thank everybody for stopping in. Please leave a comment down below. And I want to thank you. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. It all helps the channel out. Peace out. And I hope everybody has a great tomorrow.